first just gonna start a timer or something like this. My light is terrible today, you'll have to deal with that. Maybe this is better, for me at least. Let's see, I wanted to add a little note. Let's see, where did it go? Oh, it went on the other screen. That's interesting. Let's not do that then. Let's just do this. Maybe like this. This looks okay. So I just wanted to write a note here. All right. My camera is in the way. Let's try this one more time. Like this maybe. Old file. Yes. And I just want to say, feel free to ask questions. I mean, like, say hi in chat. Yes, just so I know, like, oh, hi Kevin. Yeah, I have some work I want to do on my editor, like my side stuff. Yes, and my son just fell asleep, so this is like the best time I have to do it. Anyway, so today I wanted to, how to put it, like a friend of mine, Sugayu, has done some work on getting parts of Freja working in the browser, which is really cool. But oops, he had some problems, and long story short, we need to change parts of Freja to use a queue instead of the event systems queue. So I'm gonna create a queue, and I got the brilliant idea to try to do it with my let's see, with my okay, there we go. With my how to put it, like the stuff I use when I work on my game. So first of all, I'm gonna make first I'm gonna git add and commit my main project, because I don't want to accidentally mess something up. And then we look into the saved stuff here, and I think we can just remove everything. Maybe like this. Yes, there we go. Okay, so what I did now was just clean out the project. So if I hit load file, we get some errors. That's great. Love errors. Why does it say this? state root. So unpacked was unpacked nil. Let's try trace the unpacked. And it says unpack is indeed nil. For now we don't, or I don't really care, so we can say that this should be or name root. Just creating a default thing. Still broken. Alright, I should also, yeah, I can check the log here instead. Mismatch the limiter. One of these days I want to do some linting, so I see when I mess up like this, but yeah, that's a lot of work and I'm lazy. There we go. Now we're at where I wanted to be. So I've been working for a while on like our way to visualize Janet data, code, program stuff. So just for fun, we're gonna use this to create the queue. So the queue will need some functions. We can start there. Queue.janet. It needs some functions. It needs push, queue and item. For now we just do this dummy. It needs pop, or maybe not. Is it pop? Yeah, I think pop. Let's call it pop for now. Print pop, and I guess that's it. Push pop, and I guess new Q2. New Q2, and there we need a capacity. Print new Q of capacity. Sorry about the traffic. I wish I could have my window open, but seems like I can't. Okay, so what now? Just thinking about which order I should go. Okay, I think this will be good enough. This is a good starting API. So what I want to do is when new queue is run, it should create something, a table, which has the items in an array, and it should be array new capacity. So it has a fixed size, and I think maybe I should say that too, like capacity, maybe it should say length. No, I think capacity is good. And then you have two variables, one called read index, which would be and write index. There we go. So now we say new queue, and it wants an argument, and there we go. Now we got our queue. But the problem now is that this queue, we can see it here, but otherwise it just lives in the vacuum of space and time or something. So what I want to do for now is import the local sorry, I feel like a wreck. I haven't been streaming for a while because I've had COVID, I think. Okay, anyway, so with S we can say, for example, S root, no, not root, S state root. We can get the root, and that's this root, and we can add something to that root by using the graph, and we can say graph add child, I think. Yes. Add child new Q10. And right, this doesn't refresh. Anyway, now we have a child here. And what I think is a bit cool, if I get to toot my own horn, is that now we have this new queue and the capacity and write I and read I and items. So it's just a way for us to look at this stuff in real time. And now I could comment this, and then the thing we can, oh sorry. The thing we can interact with now is state selected, which is the same as the thing we have selected. And now we can try, for example, we want to push hello to our queue. And we do that. Oh, right. And we can also, we can do this. Does this work? Yeah, I think this will refresh it. So when we actually manage to push something, something will happen here. So the first thing that happens when we push is we want to update, let's see. I'm gonna do it like this, I think. So we have a write I, and we want to say, all right, we need to do this as well, sorry. Q, update Q, write I ink. Let's start it. So I hit load, and each time I hit load, we see that write I goes up. And this is part of what we want to do, but we want it to wrap around. So when it hits the cap, it should wrap around. So we're gonna say, let the value be the increment of that thing, and if the value is greater than the capacity, greater than or equal, I guess, then it should be 0 again. Otherwise it can be v. Now that I think about it, can't we just call mod on this? Mod capacity. Maybe that's a bit more clean. And then of course we need to get the capacity. Capacity of the queue. And now I hold Control L and we can see it never hits 10. It just wraps around, which is nice. That's exactly what we want. But it doesn't put anything in items, so that's a bit sad. I think that's very sad. So what we're also gonna do is actually put something in the queue, and we're gonna do it like this. So we're gonna say update queue, and I guess we can do one of these fancy arrows. Update queue items, and we're gonna say put queue write I. Guess I can never make up my mind with this kind of stuff. Write I, new I. Gonna calculate it outside of here instead, and just put the new I, and then put new I item. So okay, we update write I, and then we put the item that we push into the position of new I. Let's load file. And now we see stuff happening here. So I hold L, and right now this preview only shows the first 3, but if I click, we can see here. And to see that something has actually happened, we can string and say OS clock, for example. That did not work. We're getting an error. What's the error? The error is integer key. What? Oh, now I'm trying to do push on something that isn't a queue. There we go. Let's do this, maybe def1's queue state selected and use, just so we keep the reference around and can change what we have selected. Now I hold Ctrl L and it works, but OS clock wasn't the best because we don't see there. So let's just do this. A good old die roll. There we go. That looks better. So now we see that it goes like it changes one value at a time from top to bottom as right eye spins around. And that's good. So now we've made a queue with a fixed capacity, and when you write to a full queue, it overwrites the oldest value, which is in this case exactly what I want. So I would say our push is completed. There's a caveat, but we'll save that for later. So now we're gonna do the pop. And I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna say let v be a value, and I want, when we pop q, we assert that the result is equal to the value. So in this case we push something and then immediately pop it, and then the value here should be the same as the result from popping. And in this case it's similar to what we have done. So we do a read I from the queue, and we need the capacity too. Capacity. Actually gonna call it cap instead. I usually use like single letter stuff, but I feel a bit not self-confident, self-conscious when someone might be watching. So I adapt, but I don't want to. I want to write C here, so I'm gonna do that. There you go. No, it's okay. It's like maybe it's like the opposite of having a stalker, isn't it? You put yourself out there and hope you get some stalkers. This is really weird. Okay, so our new index in this case will be exactly the same as before. We increase read I and wrap it around the cap so that it just spins around. But there's another trick here, and that is that read I should never go higher than write I, because that would mean that we try to read values that haven't been pushed yet. So we also make sure here we say if read I is lower than write I. Otherwise we say just read I. I guess we could move this over here this part over here. There we go. So we're just making sure that we don't read too far. You don't want to read too much into it, okay? There we go. I think I'm messing things up now, but that's okay. Yes, here I realize where I mess up. I'm increasing. I'm reading. I'm like the. Let's see. If we clear this thing. Let's see. How do we do that? Maybe we could do a clear. Yes, let's do a clear function. Define clear. Oops. Clear q, and that would just be q, put the write I0, put read I0, and array clear items. That should clear the queue. So now I want to clear q, load file, items is unknown. Yes, that's right. We want to update items in our queue log file. Okay, now it's empty. So the problem I realized was that when I run this the first time, it increments write I before it writes to item. So it skips position 0, which I don't want. So it should put into the old I, into write I. So essentially, write I is always the value of the next index I will write to. So I write to that index. And then write I is updated to point to the next index. And read I is similar. It says read I is the index that I will read from next. Okay, so that is good. But it should only read if read I is lesser than write I. Yes. So I'm actually gonna do it like this even. Let's see. If read I is greater than or equal to write I, then we just return null or nil. But I say null so that our dear Unity using viewers know what I mean, because nil is very foreign. Okay. And now when we have verified that we have something to read, then we can calculate. Whoops, I messed up here. Anyway. I lost my copy pasta. I see, that's nice. That nil doesn't confuse you. I would also be a bit surprised if nil was the worst thing in this syntax. If yeah. Anyway, so now we have our new I, and we say read I should be the new I, but before that we want a value, right? And I realize now that we don't need the arrow thing, because we're just gonna call a single function, and we're gonna get the value now, and that will be in queue. Let's see, let's extract the items too. Items and we read the value from items read I and then return that value. Okay, now we stop clearing the queue. If I add a little of this thing before, it won't run that code. It's not actually a comment, but we pretend it is. Anyway, now I try to push and then pop. And it seems to do what I want, almost. So for a while this worked, and then we get some errors. And the error is assert failure. And what I think is kind of cool now, what I'm happy about, is that we can look at the state of our queue here and see what's going on. So the problem here is that read I suddenly is bigger than write I. And this is what messes things up. So we need to extend our if thing here. And essentially we do a cond where either read I, let's see, or I guess this can be a if. Let's do an and here. Let me think. It's okay if write I is smaller than read I, if read I is equal to capacity minus 1. So if write I has like gone past the 9 and is at 0 or 1 or something, then
Lugna ner dig.
oh, now my timer kicked in. So I'm gonna take a super short break, just like 5 minutes or something. I'll be right back. I can even make a promise here. Let's do it like this, because this looks ugly now. Since I'm still recovering, I want to take it very easy. I am back 2020. So yeah, I'm soon back. Okay, so I am back and it is 2020. I realized while going to the bathroom that I should start showing you how good I am at Guilty Gear when there are breaks. Because then you get to watch me being good while I'm not here at the toilet. It's excellent. Anyway, let's keep creating this queue. And let's run this timer again. Because my back is so weak, I die if I don't take breaks like all the time. But whatever. Okay, so the problem we had was that when read is max value, then write I will actually be lower than read. I realize also that write I can be lower than read I, even when read I is not even when read I is like read I could be 7, for example, and this would still be correct. So I think the only thing I need to check for is that read I should never, or rather the next read I, no, the current read I should never be equal to write I. That is the right way to do it, I think. So let's try this again. I get some errors sometime. Let's clear this first. So with a cleared queue, it always works. And now I try with a non-cleared queue, load file, and it works even when it wraps around. And then I try to push an extra value like this maybe. And that worked as well. Now I think it will not work. Yes, now we get the error. So that's nice. Yes. So now I think it works. The question now is that can I validate that it works? Will it always work for all values and so on? And the way I want to validate this is by introducing like hard-coded property-based testing. So what I will do is I will generate, instead of a single value, I will generate an array of values. So I'm gonna say genv is just a function that generates this stuff. And then I create a bunch of v's. Let's say oh yeah, right, now we're gonna hit the other error too, but let's start simply. We want to create between 0 and 6 elements, let's say. And do we have repeat? No, let's do this seek. So just a range between between 0 and 0 to 6. And here we just call genv. Like, what am I doing wrong? Like this. And then we loop through the values in vs and say push them to the queue. And then I say we're gonna pop the queue until it is empty, and this let's do it like this. So this is the result. We get a list of the popped values, and that the list of the popped values should of course be equal to the list of the inserted values. So we're gonna say that res and vis is equal, load file. And let's look at the log. We're not getting an error. I'm gonna remove the print and I load this and it looks very nice. And we see here that the values here are very random. I realized one problem with this is that deep will actually say that strings are equal even when they're not. So we don't want to use deep, or maybe we do. Anyway, so what we can do is just make the strings a lot more random. And this is working very well. Our assertion never fails. And we can make this even more hardcore by saying do this like 10,000 times, or let's say 1,000 times. I don't know how long this takes. Load file, mismatch, limiter load file. Yes, so this this seems pretty okay. So we push a lot and then we pop. And since we don't clear the queue, it will wrap around and do all crazy stuff. And it seems to work. And that's great. So what we push, we also pop. But the trick here is that I never go overboard. I don't go over the capacity. But if we do introduce randomness so that it writes more values than the capacity of where is the capacity? This looks weird, but it's 10. Let's remove this thing. Here we go. The capacity is 10. So let's say we write 20 times and I hit load file. Now we start getting assertion failures. And there are multiple reasons for that. First of all, only the last 10 values will actually be saved. So we're gonna say that these, or like the V's we want to check against, are the last 10 V's. And I think that would be maybe like this. Let's see, does this work? I want it to be 10, so minus 11. Oh, and this should be the minimum value of this and the length of these, I think. Yeah, I think this is okay. I'm gonna do this just to double check that my code is all right. Looks like it is all right. It feels like it should print a lot more since I'm looping so much. Oh, it should be range here. Whoops, I messed up. Anyway, now it looks like it's working for all kinds of V's. So now we're gonna do the assertion against the last 10 V's instead. And now it seems like it works sometimes, but not enough. And that is because the problem we have now, let's see if I can do push q hello. I'm gonna do it like this and just run this. So the problem we have now is that read I is 1, which is fine while we're pushing, and write I goes up. But now when I hit enter, so write I becomes 1, then read I should actually be 2. Because now write I, or no, oh wait a second, sorry. All right, here's a tricky part. Right. Yeah, in this case, we would have to do it like read I becomes equal to 2. So we're gonna say if the new write I becomes equal to read I, we increase read I. So let's do this. When equal write I and read I, then we say update q. All right. And does this work? Maybe this works. I'm gonna try. This does not work. Oh. This does not work. I don't really want to create a function here. So, oh wait, this shouldn't be Q either. This should be read I. No. Oh, but I guess I can just do this. Put Q read I. Inc read I. Mod C. And the limiter, that is wrong. Load file. Now I thought it would work better. We're gonna try to push. And now we see that when I push, read I is pushed too. But I think it should be pushed, right, it should be one above write I. So now I push and it doesn't do what I want it to. Is it because of this? No. Oh. I guess it's when new I is equal to read I. Is that right? Let's try it. Yes, so write I is 9. Yeah, so now read I is pushed ahead so that they're never equal. Because I want them to be equal to mean the queue is empty. At least that's how I do it right now. There's a drawback with doing it like this, and that is that we waste some space in the queue. So now the capacity is actually 9 and not 10. And I think we see this if I hit load file. We get our error. Oh, I guess now we do need to clear the array each time. Let's do this then. Oh, and this should be make queue, because that's what other things are named, I think. Oh, still getting assertion errors. Let's see then. I'm gonna write a string when something breaks. Like this, res %p new line last 10 p's %p. Load file. Not enough values. Load file. Okay, so now let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this needs to be last 9 values instead. Since we can only read 9 values. Load file. Yes, this looks better. And now we try our giant loop. Yes, so now we can be pretty sure that this works. Let's remove the trace. Because we just randomized tons of stuff and it still works. And one way we can do it even better is do even more randomness. So let's say we do even bigger right now we have had a fixed size on the capacity, so I'm gonna change that. There we go, and yeah, that's fine. And this could be like this. And I guess it could be bigger than I2. Let's say this could be up to 10 times as big as cap. And then last 9 V's would be last decrease cap V's. I think this is right. Load file. We got an error. When did that happen? Oh right, and now we can see, I think, if we look at our queue. Oh no, that's not. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is if this happens, then I'm gonna say put, I'm gonna select the queue that had our problem. Let's see. Selected. So here we see the queue that has a problem. It seems that capacity 2 maybe doesn't even work. Why is that? Because we read and get a value, but last 9 V's. Oh, maybe it shouldn't be deck cap. It should just be cap. That's right. Yeah, okay, now our test runs, so now we know it's working. Or no, maybe that's a strong word, but it seems to work for pretty big queues now. We can make them even bigger. Oh, and now it starts taking some time to run our test, but it looks pretty promising. So the main quirk now, one annoyance left, is that the capacity of our queue is 1 less than the size of the array we use to store the items. And that's not clean. It's wasteful. So the question is, do we want to live with this and just like bump up the size of the array by 1? Or do we add another key to our queue which keeps track of, oh, now right now write I and read I are equal, but it is because the queue is full. I'm gonna try it, and yeah, these tests take too long now, so I'm gonna restart it. I'm gonna try it and see how ugly it gets. So start a queue, and we don't need this many tests. for now. Could not find, I think this is because of this thing, yes. Let's do this stuff, and this stuff, and it doesn't work. Why does it not work? Error. Oh, yeah, we named this to make queue. Okay, let's see. Now we have our queue here. So what we can do is say like full is false. Let's call it clear queue. Put full false. What is queue nil? This is not nil. It, oh, I see. We were looking at the wrong object. Okay, there we go. So full is false, despite these being equal. So what I wanted to do now is that if new I and read I turn equal when we push, then we say put queue full true, and we say put queue read I to be equal to new I instead of increased new I. And now we get to use the arrow, so that's good. Very clean code. Love it. And I think our test will fail now. I hit Ctrl L. And yes, we get some problem. And that's because now our pop needs to also check for full. And that is if these are equal and not full, then it's nil. But if they're equal and full, if they're equal and full, then it should read as usual. And then we get to say put full false. So whenever we read a value or pop a value, it's not full anymore. So now I think our test will work, and I'm wrong because I'm a bad programmer. So capacity 2. Did I ever say capacity 2 worked? I'm gonna try a bigger one here. Okay, we get same error with other capacities. So what's happening now? It says that the result is these two, but the last 9 values. Oh right, because now we can increase this one again. So our test was wrong. Maybe. Let's see, what am I doing right now? I don't know. So when cap is 10, this should be 11. Yes. Gonna rename it because the 9 is confusing. And I'm actually gonna do pop values and insert values. And I realize now I want to see all the values inserted, not just the last ones. So popped values is just a single thing, but inserted values are many, and I also want to print the, or I guess I have the capacity here. So it should actually read, I think, both of those two values. Yeah, that's right. So something fishy is going on. Let's see. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is try to reproduce this by just pushing. I'm gonna copy these. So I'm gonna do, let's see here. I'm gonna change this capacity to 2. And then I'm gonna say push Q and all of these. So I guess I could do
Lugna ner
oh,
dig.
crap, it's time for a break again. But I just wanna finish this, which is famous last words, but whatever. Okay, so now we pushed a bunch of values, and now when reading, I think it should read both of these two, but when we pop the Q, we get one value, but not the other. And that's because read I is 0 and write I is 1. That doesn't seem quite right. So we're gonna do here array clear Q Q. So this is the state we're in. And then when we pop the Q, it should read that one. 77, what? Where did that come from? 29? Is there a 29 here? Oh, right now it's doing this part. Commenting that one out. 29. This is strange. Oh, right. It had selected the wrong thing. Okay, here we go. So it pushes some stuff. It pushes too much stuff, one could say. But in this case, it should be full and read I should be 1. Why is read I 0? Because when we push, we set read I to be too big, I think. Let's try setting it to write I instead. Still the same. That seems strange too. I'm gonna print write I each time. So we see what it is every time we push. Okay, this looks very strange to me. Write I should be 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, but now it's 0 and then 0 again. Am I doing the mod thing wrong? I don't think so. Like mod 0, 2, and then 1, this should be 1, then the 2, oops, should be 0 again, yes. So why is it 0, 0? Did I push something before? Yes, oh, whoops, I push here. Okay, so right I is correct, that's good. And then it's strange to me that it makes no difference if I say it should be new I or right I. Oh, it's because I say if, wait a minute. Is this right? Still doesn't look quite right. Now we're doing some old-fashioned printing, because when we want these stepwise things, this isn't good enough right now. I could make it better, but this is how it is right now. So write I 0, and then it says new read I 0 immediately. That's not what I want. It's when the new I. Okay, so this part is right, I think. I'm feeling confused. I don't need a mod here, I don't think. Load file. Okay, write die 0, write die 1. New read die 0. Oh, but then it skips. Wait a minute. Here it should push read die again. Now we're getting to the part where I probably should be thinking instead of writing a bunch of code. But of course I never do that. This is kind of how I want it to look. Write die new I. Write die new I. Do I need to do this? Maybe now. Write die new I. Write die new I. New read I. Yes, now read I seems to follow along the way I thought it would. And now if I run my tests again, I hope it will work. Load file. Yes, now the test works again. And what's nice now is that we utilize our full capacity. And I think we can even have capacity of 1. Yes, nice. So the price we had to pay was this full property, which sadly adds a bit of complexity, especially with the pushing and popping. Like it has to check, is it not full? And here we have to do a bunch of stuff. If it's full and they're equal. Yeah, so essentially I think I should abstract this maybe. So we could say full Q I guess this is true whenever full is true though. So maybe it's enough to just check if it is full. That's true. If it is full, yes. Okay, I don't need to check the index. I just check if it is full, then it should be new I. Or if new I and read I are equal, which means, oh, it just got full. So I guess I could do it like this and say full is equal to either full or these two are equal. Yeah, maybe this is a bit cleaner. So yeah, when it is full, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now I have a queue, and this is good. And we even have a test for our queue, which is very good. We got to exercise my data viewing stuff, which is nice. It's not perfect, but it works. Now I remove some of the like development code. I gonna split this up into a test, I think. I wonder, yeah. I'm gonna, let's see. I'm gonna move the queue.janet to queue. And then I'm gonna make a div called test, and I'm gonna remove, I want to remove the git folder, because in this project I'm gonna create a new git thing. And then I say I want to look at the test queue.janet, and then I want to look at the queue, and I want to move these. Now I'm just moving stuff around. Import queue/queue, or let's say use even. Load file. Oh, we don't want this stuff. Load file. Yes, the test seemed to work. Can I run GPM test? No, no project.janet. Declare project. I think there is already a Janet queue, so maybe Janet queue isn't the best. Yeah, it's already called Janet queue. So what should I call this thing? Maybe, I wonder if their queue has a max size. Hello size, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Data. It seems like this one can grow, so maybe this could be like fixed queue. I don't know. I just want to check. Yes, GPM test, all tests pass. And then we say just to throw a wrench in there to verify that our GPM test does the right thing. Assert not. Okay, it says all tests works. So now we got an error. Oh right, because I did it the wrong way. Let's do it like this instead. Okay. What? Oh. Need to figure out a way to run this test from Freja instead, which isn't that hard, but still got to do it. Remove that. Okay, so now we get some errors. That's great. There we go. And now I want to git add project queue and test. And I guess maybe I should move queue to fixed. It's kind of an ugly name, but I think it's pretty descriptive, so maybe we'll go with that. And I want to, the reason I care about that folder name is that I want to declare source. Declare source. But now that I think about it, I think I can just expose this file instead. So we're gonna rename it. This. Works. Okay, there we go. And we say initial commit, and now we're gonna put it on the GitHubs under an MIT license, because that's how I roll. Janet fix size queue. Did I call it that? Fixed size queue. Yes. And I guess we could copy the license from Freja. Oh, haven't I added a license to Freja? Oh, right, I have it in the README instead. Maybe that's bad. Let's take this license then. And then I'm just gonna change some names around. There we go. And then this stuff. Pushing it. Very exciting stuff. And now I think I can do JPM. Oh, I need to do this. JPM install. I accidentally double tap the right click. That worked, and now I think I can say use fixed size queue. Yes, nice. Make queue 10. Cool. So now we have the queue. That's great. And I feel like I've done what I meant to do in this stream. So for now I'm just gonna end it. Thanks for watching. It was nice to have some company. Bye for now.